right. Well, good evening, Leanne. Thanks for being willing to join me here to talk about your trailblazing journey.
Yeah, of course. It's been quite the journey these last couple of years.
Well, I would like to ask you to tell a little bit about yourself so people kind of know who they're hearing from.
Okay. I'm Leanne, and my husband and I, we own a trucking and car crushing company. I get to be the stay-at-home mom that does all the bookkeeping, payroll, bidding, etc. So I wear many different hats. Obviously, there's a lot of different stresses that come with that. I have two wonderful kids, one that's 11 and then one she'll be 7 soon. So I stay busy with them. And yeah, I'm just on a journey, and
Yeah.
I've seen my life change these past couple of years for the better. And it's funny how it just sneaks up on you.
So, what drew you to trailblazing in the first place? You've been with us for how long now?
It's been at least a couple of years, I think 2.5, if I remember right.
Okay.
Uh,
What drew you?
I met Marilyn at a vendor show. I was selling Mary Kay at the time and just got busy talking to her. And she's a very nice person, and very easy to talk to, where, I friended her on Facebook and just started following her and seeing her different posts. And then I started seeing posts from you as well. And then you guys started talking about trailblazing. And I was like, what is trailblazing? And so I just kind of kept watching. I was the person that, would watch, but was like, okay, I don't understand this, or what is it? And would kind of breeze by. And one day you were wearing a plumber outfit, and what you had talked about just totally made sense. I've always been on a spiritual journey. I've always been more sensitive to other people around me, where I'd be so excited and happy to go to this party or place. But when I show up, all of a sudden everybody's energies were getting to me. And all of a sudden I would feel like I want to crawl into a shell and just hide. Or, but then I would go to other parties where all of a sudden, I'd be the very outgoing one, talkative, and I could, I'm a totally different person. So with that, I guess I never really understood, why that was. And I always had a hard time understanding, I knew I could see things in a different perspective than other people sometimes. And I believe in spirits. That comes from my Native American part side of me. And so, we're Lutheran, so we believe in God and everything, go to church, stuff like that. So there was just a part that was missing. And I've always been through the self journey of, I would feel so bad inside and I wouldn't understand why. And that was my biggest thing. Like, I have everything to be happy about. Why do I just feel like I'm trapped inside and can't get out? And I saw counseling, doctors, stuff like that. And they, of course, have helped, but there was still always that part. So the one day I saw you in the plumbing outfit, and you explained how, from your ancestors, how it trickles down to you and it passes through. And the way you explained it and showed it, I was like, it was like a light bulb. I was like, what is that? And I was like, that just spoke to my heart, and I totally understood it. At that time, financially, I wasn't ready to commit or anything. I was still trying to, like, okay, what is still this, still watching and keeping an eye. And you guys did an excellent job. One time, Marilyn, she's like, do you want to do like a one-on-one and I'll help you with your business? And I was like, oh, we didn't take over the business yet, but it was something that we were working towards. So obviously a lot of stress, things like that. But I just remember sitting there talking to her. We didn't even talk about anything business-wise. Like, I just could not talk about myself without tearing up.
Sure.
And I was crying, and that was, a big eye opener for me, where it's just like I can't even express myself to a friend of mine that, I've gotten to know well, and without crying. I always felt like I maybe had to hide. So, um, yeah. So then I was just like, okay. And then she started, working with me a little bit. And so then I just thought, well, since this is the missing piece to the puzzle that I haven't yet explored, I figured to give it a try and invest. And since then, there's been so many wonderful changes. Um, and the funny part is, it's hard to understand. It's still hard for me to grasp, like, what does spinning a pendulum do for me? And I think through your classes, I've learned so much about how past trauma really does play a part in your life, where I learned that, I have abandonment issues. And now I understand, looking back through history, of why I have that. And I'm like, oh, now I understand why I was feeling those feelings, even though I wasn't living them, they were still affecting me.
Right.
So working with the pendulum and working with your guys' system, I've been able to work with like the stress response system and to help clear that out. And it has taken me a while to get to where I'm at, to fully understanding it, because being a busy mom and business owner, my biggest thing is time. It does take time, but it's definitely something worth investing. And as I'm getting better on myself, I'm realizing I know how important it is, because I see the positive changes. Whereas like now I feel so much better about myself. I've seen huge changes, especially with my son. He was having bad night terrors, and the doctors would just be like, well, it's just a phase that they go through. And I mean, it was scary. He couldn't be in our basement by himself. My son is very sensitive towards people and spirits too. And trying to explain to him exactly what was going on and trying to help him, it was really hard.
Yeah.
So, and I remember at that time that I didn't have the time to do the work that I needed to. And with him, I was willing to try anything. So I told my husband, I said, I don't have time. Can I hire Marilyn to work on him? And let's see just what happens, because I'm like, we've tried counseling, medication, everything and beyond. We've tried. And I just said, what does it hurt? And so my husband, he still doesn't understand it, but very supportive, which I'm happy about. And he was just like, okay, let's do it. So I had Marilyn work on him. She worked on his stress response system and some other things. And oh my God, what a huge difference. Like those night terrors, they started getting less and less as she worked through the sessions. And now he doesn't have them. So, which is amazing. And I see his growth in him as he's becoming his own person. I can see that he feels more comfortable in his own skin. He's starting to understand more too. And he's more interested, which I definitely want him to learn the system as well, because I know he can help others as well as himself, versus me always working on him. And he goes downstairs in the basement. He's actually moving to his own room downstairs, which is awesome.
That's
and
cool.
a huge step, and nowadays, going through like COVID and everything else, I'm just like, oh my God, these kids are really dealing with a lot more than what we ever had to, and I just feel for them. And I'm just thankful that I have a tool that allows me to help them through that. Sometimes I think the worst part of this tool is that you want to help everybody.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Are you able to find time now to do sessions yourself?
Yes. I'm feeling better. I've lost over a year and a half. I've lost 50 pounds, and I've
Wow.
always tried to lose that weight. And I realized as I'm healing myself, all of a sudden my weight started going down as well. And I just look back at past pictures and I'm just like, wow, I see someone who was really trying and trying to do everything and was hurting. I see somebody that was hurting. And now I feel a lot happier. I'm happier with myself. Obviously, I'm still a work in progress. But isn't everybody?
Well,
So,
we all are. Absolutely. Absolutely.
but also too, seeing how I'm taking care of myself, it makes me realize that it's affecting my kids. And like with the system, you said it does help 4 generations ahead as well as 4 generations.
It's seven generations.
Oh, 7. Well, there you go.
Seven. Yes. Yes. Seven.
So, I mean, I see the changes, growing with my kids, me being a better mom, taking care of myself, me being happier is just helping support my kids as well. So I'm just like, okay, I got to make the time, and sometimes I only get to spend a half an hour. I tell myself I'm going to work on a half an hour, and whatever I get done, I can definitely set it aside and work on it the next day.
Sure.
Because I mean, I can find a half an hour to watch my favorite show on Netflix. So,
Right. Right. Yeah. You kind of have to work it into your lifestyle, don't you?
yeah. And sometimes that's hard. But like I said, when you see the changes and you feel it, you realize just how important it is, and like I said, I'm still, I'm holding a pendulum. It's crazy how you hold it and you don't move. And like it totally changes direction. Like it'll stop and totally change direction. And it just amazes me, like, okay, did I move a little bit or didn't I? But I just let it do its thing. And, I think going through it too, is interesting to see the answers and kind of be like, okay, maybe it was this, or, why is it that? So, and it's fun to talk to other trailblazers about what's going on, or, what could this mean, or can you help me out with this? I've made a lot of friends, which is nice. And it's great to see people who are experiencing the same things that I am. I'm not crazy. I'm not,
Yep.
just the one who,
Yep.
takes on other people's emotions and feel it. It's, and everybody has a different gift,
Yeah.
and it is embracing your own gift that you have. So I'm working on that. And it's just, it really opens your eyes, I would say, is the biggest thing. It opens your eyes to many, many wonderful gifts and wonderful things. But I think it also opens your eyes where you do see and realize a lot of things as well. So my relationships with people have changed, but it's only been for the better for me, where I've learned to set boundaries. And, I've learned to say, it's okay to set that boundary to take care of myself and my family, or I can say no, and not hurt people's feelings. And with that, it's just been through the self-discovery of everything here. And, I look back a couple of years ago and I'm just like, I'm a totally different person than what I was, which is awesome because I feel better.
Was it hard to learn, Leanne? Was it hard to learn the system? Did you find that difficult?
Because I tend to overthink things, it wasn't necessarily hard. It was just, I think at first I was just kind of in my own head trying to understand everything and trying to skip forward before I learned the basics. But you guys are very good at putting it in sections where you can learn. And you guys are wonderful where it's like, okay, if you don't make it to this session to learn it, you can always catch the next one. And which I have. You see me pop up plenty of times in other classes, and I like to have a refresher too, because sometimes I'm like, okay, Leanne, you haven't worked on this for a while, or it's just nice to get that refresher and talk to you guys. And I learn something new every time, which is nice.
Very cool. Yeah, each group brings its own magic, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And I like for me, because I'm very much like if I do it, if you show me how to do it, I learn. But your videos are awesome for YouTube. I've learned a lot from that, and I am able to follow that step by step. So you've done an excellent job with that. But I really enjoyed the in-person class. So
Nice to
that,
have both. It's nice to have both.
yes, it's
Yeah.
a nice variety.
So what would you say to somebody who's on the fence about trailblazing? Like, should I, shouldn't I? Can I do it? Can I do it? Like, what would you say to those people that are on the fence?
I would say if you're in the point in your life that you feel like you try everything and that you give yourself to everyone else 100%, but you don't do that for yourself, um, and you've tried counseling, you've tried taking your care of yourself in many different ways, not to discredit counseling by any means, because I still think that's amazing. But you know how we just take care of ourselves by like, okay, I'm gonna take a half an hour reading for myself or so forth, but if you feel like you're just kind of stuck and you've tried every other option and there's nowhere to go, this is definitely something, like I said, is the missing puzzle piece, because it does hit you on a totally different level than just on the outside.
Sure.
It really helps heal you from the inside out, and it shows.
Cool.
It's just unbelievable. I'm glad I took the chance, and I'm glad my husband is so open and willing to let me try things. And he's just like, honey, if it makes you feel better, it's not hurting anybody else, then yeah, go for it. Definitely do that for yourself. And he's only seen the positive changes too. And he's just like, honey, I'm so proud of you. And, you look amazing. Or, I can tell you're so much happier was the biggest thing. And so, it, like I said, it's one of those things, it's so hard to understand until you really start working with the program and you start feeling it. Like even wearing this pendant, you guys talk about that in your class. And I was just like, okay, really wearing a necklace, how is that gonna change? And when I first started wearing it, you guys talk about going through, was it detoxing or something?
Yeah.
I could only wear it for like 15 minutes at a time because I was so hurt inside that it was affecting me that much. It was too much of a change all at once.
Sure.
But I'm able to wear it now full time. And now if I'm not wearing it, I definitely notice the difference where I feel like I am taking on other people's energies and I feel more exhausted, where when I wear this, I feel energetic, I feel good. And just like what you talk about in class, just how food tastes better and different things. And I'm like, okay, and then this is from this.
It's a little hard to stretch, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, it's hard to describe until you feel it yourself and do it. But definitely worth the investment. It's worth taking care of you. I use this even in my business. There's times where I'm doing bidding and I'm kind of like on the fence of like, should we go with this rate, or would we be better off going with that rate? And you guys have taught me how to work that the pendulum to help me guide, and our business has only been more successful because of it. So
I didn't know that, Leanne. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And right now I'm learning more from Marilyn, and obviously from you, from the business side of it. There's so much more that I haven't even tapped into. And just from even attracting, new customers, or like I even clear the energy pretty much every day of our business, because, everything does affect you, from your workers to
and
your
you
partner.
are your business. So the more you grow, the more your business is going to grow too. So that's, besides your kids and everything else, it affects your business, doesn't it?
It does. I like, if you asked me 2 years ago, I would not be very confident to go in and talk to our customers that we work with on a regular basis. For now, I'm comfortable. I will go in and visit with them, and I'm comfortable in my own skin. And that's just
Good. I love
how
it.
it's been through this journey. So,
Yeah.
I just have to thank you and Marilyn so much because, like I said, it's just been amazing. So,
Well, we want to thank you for being on the journey of, with us, because we couldn't do this without people like you. But I'm really grateful that you were willing to share your story, Leanne, because lots of people have lots of questions. And I think you answered a lot of questions that people might have. So really appreciate you taking the time tonight. Thank you so much.
thank you. And, I'm always open to answering anybody's questions if, there is somebody that is like, I don't quite feel comfortable asking Tara or Marilyn, I want somebody else's perspective. I'm always open to
Okay.
talking. So
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you, dear.
thank you.
Take care and have a great night.
You too. I'll see you at your next class.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.